Well, the turkey has been carved, the guests have come and they've gone, and now you're trying to figure out what to do with all your extra food. Well, Coco contributor Colleen Ferreira shares some of her delicious and creative ways to spice up those leftovers.
So guys, right now you're probably looking at all of those freezer bags full of turkey leftovers thinking, what am I gonna do with all this turkey meat post-Thanksgiving? Well, today we're gonna transform all of that turkey. We're gonna make the leftovers absolutely irresistible. And for good reason, because you know what? 10, 15 pounds of leftover turkey, yep. There's only so many cold turkey sandwiches and turkey tetrazzinis that I can personally have. So why not kick it up a notch, okay? And how we're gonna do that is we're gonna add a lot of spice and fat to this turkey to make it taste so good. All right, right now what I'm doing is I'm assembling a turkey cubano. Traditionally, cubanos have two types of pork in it. It has a cured ham, which I still kept in the sandwich, but it also has a slow roasted pork. And what I did was, instead of that slow roasted pork, I put in some of that beautiful turkey meat. And there you go, some mustard, some pickles, some Swiss cheese. If you have a sandwich press or a panini maker, I want you to go ahead and put that in there. I don't have one, so I took my big Dutch oven. I put this in a pan on the stove. I threw that Dutch oven on top and I toasted up both sides really well. That cheese is gonna melt. That whole sandwich is gonna come together really nicely. All of those flavors mixing together. And then take a look. It's just beautiful. You can see the layer of turkey, the layer of cured ham, Swiss cheese, pickle, and mustard. This is a sandwich that we eat all year round, but a great way to use up some of those turkey leftovers this time of year. We're next going to a dish that I call a deconstructed bell pepper. You know all those flavors that are stuffed inside those bell peppers? Well, this is everything just in a simple rice dish, very budget friendly. I did was I started with a spicy ground pork. You see it right over here. As that ground pork was sauteing in the pan, I cut up some chunks of turkey, white meat, dark meat, whatever you have, and throw it in there. So now we're really adding some more flavor to this turkey, and that turkey's just gonna soak up everything that we're gonna give it right now. Italian seasonings, red pepper flakes, and then I'm just throwing in some bell peppers, some onions, and then a whole load of just plain white rice. All of that is gonna mix together really nicely. You can top it off with some cheese, you can top it off with some extra red pepper flakes, but this is a very family-friendly recipe, but a great recipe for a crowd maybe a couple days after Thanksgiving. Really takes that turkey to the next level by adding in these wonderful Italian flavors and flair to something that is just so simple. All right, last but not least, this is something that uses the turkey in two ways. So we're making a spicy turkey ramen. With the turkey, I am just sauteing some of that meat in butter. Again, adding some just irresistible fat to the turkey makes it go a long way, right? So now we have some butter going in with that turkey and then sriracha. So that butter and sriracha mixture is gonna coat that turkey really well. You're gonna saute that up until it's warm, until it's crispy, however you like it. And then we're also gonna layer it into this ramen bowl. What I did with some of those turkey bones, guys, is I reduced that down. I cooked those turkey bones and I made a really good turkey broth, so I'm using the turkey two ways in this ramen over here. Okay, building a ramen bowl, you can put anything in here. I have some spinach, I have some of that spicy sriracha turkey, I have some egg, beautiful egg that always adds such a pop of color and flavor, carrots, some cilantro, green onions, and there you go. You have this beautiful bowl of ramen. I want you to kind of take a look at this broth. Look at that bone broth that's come out of the turkey. It's beautiful. So repurposing the turkey in two ways here. And we kind of have different flavors of the world coming together to really take your turkey to the next level. And I bet you with these three recipes, three of my favorite recipes, I think your turkey leftovers will finally be gone before that holiday ham makes an appearance in a few weeks.
All right, thank you so much, Colleen. I'm gonna have to try that deconstructed bell pepper. Yum!